Hello and welcome to another update video about MATIC. MATIC is currently correcting a little bit, nothing major, but what we can see here is that it again failed to sustain a breakout. So it continues to follow the same pattern that it already followed, well, throughout February basically, with these attempted breakouts and then pullbacks to a trend line, breakout, pullback to a trend line, so always failing to really get a sustained breakout. This last rally here was quite promising, especially given the pull, the break above these recent highs, here the December high for example, and also here the March high. Okay, so I mean they are still holding, so we haven't broken back below them. I just want to highlight that, well, ideally, you know, it would just go through. Obviously this could be another small 1-2 setup at the moment in wave 3, but we just you know, the smaller the time frame, the less stable, you could say, also the wave count, and the more fragile it is, right? So it could be this, it could be this that's unfolding, but please be aware that as soon as we break below the beginning of the small wave 1 there, which is here this swing low with Tuesday low at $1.12, well, that potential gets invalidated. This 1-2 setup, as it is there on the chart, will get invalidated. Now, does that mean the entire trend is broken? No, but it likely means that we are moving back into the larger support zone that you can see down there. Let's talk about the two potentials. So in the most aggressively bullish scenario, Polygon would, just follow through here in a third of a third wave, possibly to 155, 162 as mentioned yesterday. We should then get a wave 4 and a wave 5 of a larger degree third wave, which basically belongs to the wave degree of this initial 1-2 setup, which bottomed in March, on the 5th of March. Yeah, and this is quite a bullish perspective, and then we would get a 4 and a 5 of an even larger degree wave 3 that basically belongs to the same wave degree as this 1-2 setup, which bottomed in January. Okay, so we can climb higher, continue to climb higher accordingly. However, it hasn't yet really followed through. So it's just something I'm observing, and something that sort of starts to temper my expectations for a breakout. It had the chance. I mean, it did go up, right? I mean, it's one of the charts that I think we had 100% success rate with our support regions in February. So you know, it was very clear, but it's not really. It had a lot of chances to really break out. Okay, lots of chances to break out. It hasn't done that yet. Now that doesn't mean it couldn't still do it, but I'm just getting cautious about the general situation in the crypto space, and especially Bitcoin, Ethereum, which are due corrections. Yeah, they can still push higher and they haven't broken support, but they are technically speaking due corrections. So all it might need is a catalyst. And then it will probably fall back. So also Polygon will probably fall back into the lower support region, which is defined between 78 cents and 99.8 cents. So just want to mention that would be my alternative perspective. But then from there, it could restart the third wave. So a lot of questions reached me in the last few days asking about, okay, if Bitcoin, Ethereum have the potential to correct, what about the altcoins? Well, it's not that easy. You know, there will always be altcoins that decouple from Bitcoin, Ethereum. But the reality is, if Bitcoin, Ether correct, most altcoins will, if they have a short-term bearish potential, probably follow that. And for MATIC, that might mean a pullback into the lower support region, if it's enough. And what I always say is, you know, altcoin charts specifically, they break very often, right? They break. A lot of people who are now new in the space might have seen the analysis. We had the luxury of again, all these setup worked out, you know. We even had the problem that sometimes support areas weren't reached. So since October, basically, since the bull market started really for altcoins, because before that it wasn't very clear, but basically since October, most setups worked out. I mean, I don't think we had really charts break. Sometimes micro support levels, yeah. But I'd say, look, like 80% of support levels did hold. Yeah, that's great. Maybe even more. I remember here for MATIC, we had 100% in a month. But the thing is, regular profit taking is so important. The market can change at an instant. Nobody should be surprised if suddenly the market changes again. So again, hopefully, I mean, regular profit taking is so important. We've been talking about it in member live streams and so on. It's so important, and profit taking strategies, religious profit taking, especially for altcoins, because the reality is these charts break when Bitcoin for example, starts to correct, Bitcoin is still leading. Okay, so they work as long as they work, and then when it's like a trend line. If you just not related to Elliott wave, but let's assume we have a trend line, and at some point trend lines break. At some point structural support levels break. At some point altcoin Elliott wave setups break. That's completely normal. So you need to understand your personal risk, what are the support levels, when do I want to get out of the trade, and so on. Or do you not care about all of this, and do you just follow the larger Bitcoin cycle? You have some altcoin positions with maybe promising charts, and you don't mind if we get a 30 to 40% correction, no problem. Well, people who are leveraged in futures will have a problem with that, but therefore you always have to have a stop. So that's just sort of the message that, altcoins tend to break at some point, but we had the luxury for the last few months that basically all these setups have been working. So I just want to make sure that people who are new in the space understand that. So the question is, okay, how long is this initial potential valid? So the initial potential here, the breakout posture, is valid as long as we're holding $1.12. I think it's a reasonable trade, a long trade from here, because the reward to risk ratio is so great, with a stop below $1.12. Amazing, just be aware that obviously it could break, and that might not even change the overall trend. It might just dip into the lower support region and might restart the rally. So it's still a bullish chart at the moment, okay, and the break of microstructure does not impact that. But if you just want to trade the potential here to the upside, maybe for a third wave rally, then it is reasonable to have a stop below $1.12, because that would be in invalidation of this initial move to the upside, this immediate move to the upside. The lower wave 2 is absolutely an option. In that case, this yellow wave 1 obviously would sit here, as I've highlighted here with the alternative wave 1, and it would have been characterized by a extended 5-wave move, and this 5th wave here was likely extended. Yeah, but not much more to add at the moment about MATIC. So I hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Also, make sure that you follow us on Instagram and Twitter for additional content. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.